Hey, what's up, guys? It's Enchanted, and I wanted to give my opinion on the conversation surrounding Tate McRae. So, I'm not the biggest Tate McRae fan. I do love some of her songs, though. I love that one that goes, "What would you do if I leave and don't come back?" And I like Think Later. I really like that song too. And just from memory, I just remember Tate McRae being a really good dancer. I vividly remember seeing her in like those dance studios back in the day. And I believe she started, transitioning a bit later into her now singing career. So Tate McRae, she's a performer. Many of her songs involve very intense choreography, and it's really fast paced. And the critique that I'm seeing is that she rarely sings live, and she's just a dancer that lip syncs basically. And I also see like a lot of comments, talking about they don't like the tone of her voice, and this often comes up in a lot of discussions. You guys, you know what I think about that? I think you guys are some haters. Okay, you guys are really hating on this girl. Okay, the same people critiquing Tate McRae's artistry are the same people that complain about the industry being bland and stale. I think it's important that many of us, realize that there are many different types of artists. They don't all have to fit in a certain box and relate to your preferences. Dancing is Tate McRae's main draw. The way that you guys are treating Tate is like, if I were to go online and drag Adele for not doing choreography during her set. These are two different types of performers. And if we are being completely honest, there is nobody seeing Tate in that dance category currently. Nobody. I love Normani. I think Tanashi can dance really good as well, but even them, Tate has, she's even better than Britney Spears. And, any dance teacher, I think, would tell you this, especially on a technical scale. You may prefer the others. You might have preferred, Britney's smoothness, or, Normani, she has a little, more swag. But if we're being on a technical, Tate is the superior dancer. There's no one matching her right now. I saw many people on Twitter kind of dragging Tate over, fans saying she's this generation's Britney Spears. And, obviously this was a bit of a setup because, Tate is nowhere near as big as Britney. And, you know, I don't know, that's the main point that people use to drag her. She doesn't have Britney's impact, at least not yet. But I think the original user was more so trying to say in terms of artistry, like, how they are being promoted, or both Britney and Tate are known for being, their unique vocals and their incredible dancing. Saw a lot of people, Britney Spears fans trying to say, that Britney can outdance Tate, and I think you guys have been really biased. Britney is an amazing dancer, but I don't think she's outdancing Tate, especially on like the technical end. Um, but when you really think about it, Tate is, walking in the same lane as, Paula Abdul, Britney Spears, Janet Jackson's, they've carved out, with choreography being the main draw. Like that's kind of like what you think of when you think of these artists. And, singing it, they have good songs, but they're not necessarily known for their voice. They might have, kind of unique voices. Janet had a unique voice. Britney Spears had a unique voice. And lots of times they got a lot of criticism, just like Tate McRae, when it came to people not liking their voice or thinking their voice was too weird, or so they're kind of in the same lane if we're really being objective. Obviously just Tate isn't as big as these artists, but to me it's pretty obvious that this is the case, and I really don't understand the backlash over the lip syncing. It's like, if you want to watch somebody that is going to sing the house down, you might want to go and watch Chloe Bailey. Or if you want to watch someone, with a more palatable and, maybe a generic sound, and, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but let's add songwriting. I don't want the Swifties, coming at me, but, you might want to listen to Taylor Swift. She's good for that type of audience. If you want a songwriter, listen to Mariah Carey. Lots of critique from Tate seems to come from people that would never want to listen to her in the first place. So it's just like, I don't know, this kind of sentiment is generally, it just really makes me mad, because there have been so many instances where artists get crapped on for just not being someone's specific taste. Like Beyonce kind of always falls victim to this. Everybody saying, no, she's overrated, she's overhyped. But really, they just don't like her music, and that's okay. Just because they aren't your cup of tea doesn't mean they're a bad artist in general. Again, Tate's main appeal is dancing. Her dancing performance. She isn't doing any less than the, dancers used to do back then. Britney Spears, Janet. It impresses me with all her dance performances every single time I see it. Like, you guys act like she isn't giving her all on stage. Like the way you guys make it seem is like she's just standing on stage and just, kind of just singing her tune and pointing the mic at the audience. It's like, give her a break. She's giving whole dance breaks. She's dancing like the entire time. She's putting on a performance. So I don't know. That's her niche. That's the audience that likes her for that. So, I am hoping that she gives more dance performances in the future because I loved X's. It didn't perform as good as what it should have. I don't know. I don't think the record label pushed it like they were. I heard she's, allegedly trying to switch labels right now. I really did like X's. So, hopefully she gives us more dance bangers in the future. As for her voice, I actually really like her voice in a way. It's kind of like a siren to me, like she kind of reminds me of Camila Cabello's voice type. I know a lot of people don't like Camila Cabello's voice either, but I don't know. I love how they both kind of feel like electronic in a way. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you don't like her voice, just listen to someone you prefer. No need to bring Tate down. You can have your preferences. But what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that the criticism is valid, or do you think that people are just being way too harsh on Miss Tate? Okay, I think they're being too harsh on her. But she has been the punching bag of Twitter for kind of a minute now, and that also means that she's starting to break out. Once people go mainstream, that's when they start getting the most hate. So it could be a good sign that she's blossoming into her mainstream career. But I don't know. The hate's been picking up though. I've been feeling kind of bad. But what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.